Hello. Yesterday was World Theatre Day, and thanks to everyone who checked out the post and liked it. Appreciate it. And afterwards, my sister and I were reminiscing about some of the previous contracts that I had been in, and the one that I find that my family talks about time and time again is a show that I did in 2017, and I posted about it before. It's called Anxiety, and it was a show by Theatre Yes, and Heather Inglis was the creator of the show, I believe. I should probably, check the website to make sure I'm not forgetting everyone, but she was the artistic director of Theatre Yes at the time, and it was just the wildest experience, the most unique, incredible acting experience of my life, and I just wanted to share it with you because it was so cool. So this show, it was done in a warehouse in it's South Edmonton, and I think the warehouse was in transition. It had like the people had moved out of it, and then they were going to do something with it. In that in between time, Theatre Yes did a show in it, and there was 6 rooms all on one floor, and in every room there was a different play happening, and every play came from a different theater company across the country. So I was working with a theater company from Toronto. Can't remember, but I'll tag them anyway. Yeah, so I was in one of the rooms, and they were all about different situations, I guess, that cause anxiety, and in all these different aspects of life and time, actually. And we would perform our play 6 times a night. We had 10 minutes. It was so stressful. So I had this watch, and before every time I would do the play, I would set that timer, and it was hard to get it done in 10 minutes, and it was a really emotional arc for my play. It involved it was very emotional, a lot of sadness, and it was so challenging emotionally. I feel like I learned so much about myself and how emotions worked, and how sometimes I feel like I would give everything I had and my body would kind of go numb. It's almost like it kind of was like, no more. But it was so interesting to experience that and learn that and how to navigate it, especially when you have to be able to produce that kind of emotion on demand, and 6 times a night, 12 times on 2 show days. And that's not all. So I'm doing my part of the show, which is this 10-minute play that I'm learning and rehearsing. And then there's this meet and greet day. We have a pizza, and we all get to meet each other's cast and just get to know each other, because these directors and producers are from all across the country. And then Heather starts telling us that the guests, the audience, the patrons are going to actually arrive to a theater in Edmonton called La Cité Francophone. But then from there, they're going to be told, I don't remember exactly what they were told, but something, I don't know, basically they had to go to another location, and that they had a bus ready for them to take them from the theater to this warehouse where the play was actually taking place. And once they were on the bus driver would go rogue and would take them to this warehouse, and they didn't know that. So they just got on the bus thinking they're going to another theater, but instead the bus driver goes off. I remember we were at that party, and I was kind of silent after she told us this, and someone eventually put up their hand, and they were like, I'm sorry, did you say there's going to be a bus? And she was like, yeah, my friend there used to be a bus driver and there's going to be a bus and it's going to bring them. I was flabbergasted. I was like, oh my god, my family's not like artists. They're not. If they get on the bus and the bus goes rogue, like they're getting kidnapped, they might call the police. So I was really conflicted. I didn't want to ruin the show, but at the same time, I was like, I don't want to like call the police or think they're actually being abducted. So I told them, I was like, this is what's gonna happen, just so you know. It's part of the experience. You know, they're just there to support my crazy shenanigans. They're not used to this kind of thing. And then to top it all off, once they arrive at the warehouse, everyone got separated from who they arrived with. And so that happens. And outside of the 6 rooms where these 6 plays are taking place simultaneously, and then the audience rotates to the next one, there's another show going on, which I never got to see, sadly, because I was always in my little room. All the doors got closed to these rooms to also further induce anxiety, these small rooms. And the night that my dad and sister came, my sister was actually picked out of everyone in the audience to sing a song she was not pleased about. And then, yeah, they were separated. And then you had to go into these different rooms and you went through all the 6 plays, 10 minutes each. That was the coolest, most unique thing ever. And I've said it before, but if there was one show in my career that I wish I could have experienced as an audience going through that, it was that one. But at the same time, if there's one show that I would wish that I could have been a part of, like it's gotta be that one. But it wasn't like you can watch the show through the cracks of the curtain, kind of like you do with other shows, because everything was closed off and I was in that room. That was the coolest thing ever. And I just have to give a shout out to Heather Inglis. You're just a mad genius. Wow, that was wild. So memorable for me going through it, and also obviously so memorable for people who came and watched it, because like it's just, when we think about those past shows, that's the one that always comes up. I don't know if it's been done again. I hope it gets done again. I mean, it's hard to find the space that will make it work, but it's just a genius masterpiece of a show. And Canadian Stage Theatre, I didn't know that this was a review. I just came across it last night. One thing that makes me kind of sad is that I wish I had more memories and photos and videos of these past shows that I've done. There's some shows where I don't even have anything because it's so chaotic, and at that time marketing on social media wasn't a huge thing, and it's live theater, so it's not about putting it on film or anything, but I do wish I had more memories of these beautiful things. But this company, the reviewer had a GoPro on, and I just discovered that this video exists on YouTube yesterday, and it has a little condensed version of the show, and I'll post a little segment of it. But I'm so grateful, whoever was wearing that GoPro, I have no idea who that was, but I'm so grateful that exists, so that it captured a little bit of the show. And it's so nice to have that memory and look back on one of the coolest experiences of my life, of my career, of the genius that is Heather Inglis and everyone who was involved in that show. I'm so thankful and blessed that I was that Heather reached out to me to be a part of that ride, because it was amazing.